Imagine what it'd be like in a day of somebody who couldn't read. Imagine trying to fill out a form, taking money out of an ATM, trying to get a job, reading a bus route instruction. I mean, you couldn't even depict a day without being able to read, because we all take it for granted. But imagine if you taught somebody those skills, how their lives would change.
I've worked in Kempsey 25 years now, where people do it tough. You know, there's high unemployment, domestic violence.
We are in the 0.5% of most disadvantaged schools.
A lot of families can't afford going to, like a private speech pathologist, and we do have a lot of families with children with learning difficulties.
So the learning that we give to our students, it has to be engaging.
The reason that ALNF was such a good fit compared to some of the other applicants we were getting was that the people of Kempsey were stepping up saying, we want to help our kids. It's got to be us, we want to lead this. And the other things that we were looking at funding were all program delivery, so people bringing a program in and delivering it into the early childhood system. Whereas ALNF's program was very much about building the skills and the capabilities of the people who were already in Kempsey, the parents, the early childhood teachers, the teachers' aides, the entire community. So that's what the community were crying out for.
We had the training here in the community room and it was full. We had 40 to 45 participants every time over the last 7 years of delivering it.
After the first day of training already, I felt like the light bulbs had switched on.
We have a lot of programs in schools, and some of them the staff are very positive towards, and other ones they're less so, and ALNF is one that they were obviously very positive about.
We also saw that we have families with literacy issues. We have staff with literacy issues. So then the ALNF saw a need there to train those people.
Especially for me, because I'm probably one of the most dyslexic workers that we have here. And so I've always struggled with language, and now I have this skill. I actually wished I had this skill when my children were smaller.
I never really went near the literacy or numeracy until I came to preschool here. ALNF showed me ways I could give in the kids a foundation to help them understand literacy and numeracy.
One of the very first things I witnessed from Pete was actually doing a book walk through a picture book, and the children, they were just glued.
I enjoy watching their faces, I enjoy them interacting with the books, because that's all what reading's all about.
All of our staff now will have this training, and so all the children will all have a similar standard of training and understanding, because we'll all be on the same boat.
The program gives the aides a huge amount of confidence.
I don't find myself as an assistant. I see myself as like an Aboriginal teacher, kindergarten teacher.
She's always been valued, but I think she values herself and what she does in the school even more. And I think she realises that she really has got something to offer.
By the end of the day, I go home happy, and I think I've made a difference with that child.
Instead of us having a teacher and an aide, we've got 2 teachers in that room, and that's the true strength of this program. The empowerment and the skill set it builds in our aides has made a huge improvement to the learning we're able to provide to students.
It was pretty apparent that some good things were happening. The growth in the number of participating sites from 3 to 24 over 4 to 5 years was pretty strong indication that there was a community need there.
And I remember these lovely ladies and approached them and said, would you please come and work with us? Because I knew that they'd been successful in Kempsey area and you know their gains, what they were doing there was terrific. So I wanted to see if we could tap into that great resource and to pull it all together here.
Eventually, funding was accessed through the Vincent Fairfax Family Foundation, who came on board and said yes. So we're very relieved, thinking yes, we now can move from Kempsey, extend into Nambucca.
The great thing about ALNF and their program is that it works on so many levels. So seeing kids that are now writing their name is an obvious outcome that we wanted to see, but probably what I found more exciting, because it kind of has generated a real systemic shift, was seeing local people empowered to be teachers of their children.
I think there's something quite inherent in the way they work that is kind of anchored around respect, and a deep respect for what these communities bring and the strengths that they have.
We're always very keen to have strong links between the home and the school, and that's one of our main school goals, is to build those links. So this program means that parents are able to become more involved in the education of their children.
They've actually got a lot more books in their homes than they used to, I've found. They buy a lot more, you know, colouring in books and crayons and pencils. It's taken a long time, I think, to see that change, but I have seen it.
Even though I know it's tempting to always fund programs that are delivered directly to a child, but think about where that child is going to be in 10 years' time, and if you haven't sort of changed the culture and the capacity and the capability in a community, it won't have made a difference long term.
It's one of the best programs, one of the best, if not the best, literacy program I've seen, and I've been in early childhood for 23 years.
We've actually, over time, changed our funding principles because of what we've learnt from funding ALNF in Kempsey. So we now have as one of our funding principles that everything that's done must include capacity building.
If you can read, you can learn about anything, and that's what I want for all children. And I know without this funding, things would have happened a lot slower in Kempsey, but the programs that they offer and the training they offer and then the support that they offer is just fantastic.
That's what I tell my children all the time. You need to get a foundation, you need to get an education and push yourself.
All families and children should be involved in this program. It would be wonderful to be able to fund it enough so it would be Australia-wide. It could be a national thing.
My hope for the community is that our kids get a good education. I'm very passionate about it.